We want to get your opinion, but we're not going to tell you whose team is who. So who do you think? We just did starters. So whose starting 5 do you think is best for the All-Star game?
Easy, Sue. Oh, sorry.
Hey, everybody. We're back. I don't know if it's felt this long for other people, but we haven't been like in our fake studio here in a while. So it's really good to be back. We've been everywhere. We hit up Knoxville, went to France, went to Napa. We've had a very productive couple weeks. We got some new tattoos when we were in Cannes, where we hooked up with Hunter and Tara Davis Woodhull. Oh, Megan is showing you her tattoo. She's very excited. I will not be doing that. But I do get how they get addictive. I can tell you that much. I didn't have any tattoos up until Gabby Williams blessed me with my Wazo tattoo. And now I've got a couple little boop bops that I get the addiction. Yeah. Another thing that's addicting is wine in Napa, which is where we celebrated Megan's 40th birthday. Megan is officially 40. I couldn't be like more thrilled. I now know I no longer have to hear jokes about I'm still in my 30s. I wouldn't know what that's like.
Well, I'm not Megan. In my mid 40s, and you're barreling towards it.
Neither am I.
True. Thank you, babe. Sue planned the most unbelievable trip to Napa. We literally did all the best things. French Laundry lives up. Reason for all those stars. Ridiculous. We had the best group of friends. It was so much fun. She made these water bottles with stickers to keep everyone hydrated. I mean, hello. So cute. This is real. This
is little Megan.
This is me at Disneyland when I was little. It's just so cute.
Rocking a fanny pack.
You're
all about the visuals
today. Yeah. You gotta give the tubers what they want.
Well, why don't you tell everybody what your tattoos are then? Because we didn't really describe them.
Oh, well, the one is a tiger, just like an outline of a. Yeah, sometimes I just got to let people know. A tiger for. It's not really for like always being fierce in life, but I mean, I can say that. The other one is a little alien head. I was telling my mom about it and I was like, it's because I'm not from here. You know, like I'm different. She goes, well, actually, you are from here.
Very literal of you, Mammers.
Okay, Mom. I get it. Whatever. We got those when we were in Cannes. I love them so much. But yeah, I had a great birthday. Celebrated with my twin Rach and all my friends. And Sue, you did the cutest little job. Just literally planning everything. I didn't have to think at all. While we were doing that and celebrating me barreling into 40, somebody got their statue announced. Sue, do you know who that somebody is?
I do.
It's Booster.
It's me.
It's Booster.
I don't know if Booster would ever get a statue, but
she should. What would Booster's face be on her statue?
She can dream for next year's March Madness. Booster's. I mean, we look the same.
Would she be like?
Yeah, she'd be probably feistier.
Yeah, she's feisty.
I'm definitely calmer. Booster's feisty.
Yeah. Only player in the WNBA to have received a statue thus far. There will likely be a wake of them.
I was going to say first, not the last. I can already.
Yeah, first, not the last. Love that.
They're all coming.
Sue, congratulations on your statue. It's incredible. Such an amazing thing to be bestowed upon you by a city that just like absolutely adores you and vice versa. It is very cool. We have the Chiney Ogwumike on the show today. Pumped for this interview. We are talking all things WNBA All Star, our picks and our teams.
Our picks kind of. We did a little fake draft. We're going to ask you.
We did a little fake draft game. We love a game here. And you've probably already seen on les social media that ATM Live will be in Indianapolis talking all things basketball. We have some very special guests joining not only A Touch More Live, but also Bird's Eye View. Sue's doing the double duties when we get to Indy. Can't wait.
Statue.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Got to work for that. You got to work for that.
Yeah, you got to work for that. But very excited, and we're so happy to be back with y'all. I'm Megan Rapinoe.
And I'm Sue Bird. This is A Touch More. Let's get into it. Support for A Touch More comes from Icy Hot. You know those moments when you've already given your all and you're still ready to come back for more, but the only thing standing in your way is pain? Well, you don't need to let those achy joints and muscles hold you back anymore. With Icy Hot Original No Mess, you can experience fast-acting pain relief and come back strong. Ice works fast and heat makes it last. You're so back with Icy Hot. Buy Icy Hot Original No Mess now.
Support for A Touch More comes from Netflix. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, two of the most dynamic and fierce athletes in the world, are facing off once more on Friday, July 11th. It's the first ever women's boxing trilogy fight, and the stakes have never been higher. The last time these two rivals met aired live on Netflix, and it was the most watched women's sporting event in history. The event will feature 5 fights across the card, with 9 current world champions and 4 of the top 10 women's pound-for-pound fighters in the world, as rated by BoxRec. It's also setting a new financial standard for female fighters, with Taylor and Serrano poised to receive record-breaking purses and raising the benchmark even higher as the highest-paid female fighters of all time. I'm going to be tuning in. Don't miss the epic showdown live from Madison Square Garden in New York City. Watch Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano on Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live on Netflix. First up, the check-in. WNBA All Stars have been announced. There are some very happy fans and some very unhappy fans, I'm sure. Some disappointed players, maybe some surprise players. Sue, what's your biggest takeaway from the All Star selections?
Like every year with the All Star team, there are some happy people, there's some sad people. And the hard part is the ones that you feel got snubbed. If you don't pick who you're taking off, it's kind of hard to feel super sad. But with that, you got something?
We do feel strongly about if you are going to ride hard for a snub, you are saying a name to take them off.
You got to say a name. That's the rule. That's the rule. So for me, I think what stood out was the 2 first-timers. There's 5 first-timers, but you've got Paige, Sonia Citron, Kiki Iri-Finn, rookies. So I'm going to put them to the side for a second. The 2 players that stuck out, Gabby Williams of the Storm, Kayla Thornton of the Golden State Valkyries. These are first timers, but these are players that have been in the league for 5-6 years plus. So to make an all-star team later in your career, I always think is so special. It marks growth. I think for Kayla, it marks opportunity to showcase her talent. So really excited for those 2. And then I think for the snubs, the one that stuck out the most was Brittany Sykes, especially because 2 other players on her team were named All-Star. So bummed for her. Also, Kayla McBride, I think, got snubbed. You know, Minnesota Lynx, best team in the league. She's obviously one of their best players. And then you could throw Bree Jones in there. But the only other one that really stuck out is Natasha Cloud. I think this is a snub for sure. I don't know who I would replace. So that's why I'm not, my panties aren't in a twist over here. But I do think Natasha Cloud in her career has been snubbed multiple times. So if history, repeats itself, I think one of the other times was like 2018. She didn't make the All-Star team, ended up taking the Mystics to the finals. So just throw in.
Just going to say, would not hate to see Natasha Cloud at the All-Star game. No one would hate to see that. From just like every single angle, on the court, off the court, the vibe she brings, like she's such a big part of like the cool factor of the W. So it's a bummer that she's not going to be there. We hate it.
I mean, I'm sure she'll be there. She just might not be on the court. That's kind of the bummer, Fair. Although I don't know that to be true. She might be going to Cabo. Who knows? I think the thing that is tough is that she is like a lot of players like her, like a lot of point guards, to be honest. You get overlooked, right? You're like the heartbeat of the team. But you get overlooked because you might not have the stats, or you might be surrounded by other great players. And at some point, they're not going to be able to put everybody on. Also shout out to John Cole Jones. Her tweet was a little I felt that one. She's basically like nothing worse than playing like an all-star, but not being able to be on the team because she's injured. All right. Honestly, I love all the WNBA talk. Nobody better to bring in and discuss all of it than Chiney Ogwumike. Let's get to it. We want to welcome to A Touch More a two-time WNBA All Star, ESPN analyst, Chiney Ogwumike. And I don't know if everyone knows this, but you're also a musician?
Oh God, no! Now we're here. Now we're moving bigger every year from our drive to the Bay, Cali, USA. Try to let the world. Now rise up my nerves. We aim for the top block. S on my chest. This something can't be stopped. Working class all day and in practice we play Cardinal runs in my blood. We represent you. Okay. I can't believe I remember that, and I'm so ashamed right now. So embarrassed.
I love that you remembered that. No, you should. That is not embarrassing. That is amazing. I remember I remember my elementary school song. Okay,
I'm like Fochi.
There's no shame in that.
Also, you guys, what's crazy is that like Nerd Nation, that actually became trademarked by the university, was my intellectual property, and run me my money, man. And I was all good.
Seriously,
yeah,
I know.
No, really,
you need to circle back on that. Let's go.
What's
up,
good.
Cardinal?
We give back to our institutions, right?
Well, we had to start the show off, with a little bit of a bang. I mean, you're literally so multi-talented. It's crazy. I feel like that's really when you probably started becoming an actual producer, which we're going to get into a little bit later because we got a producer on the show, not just a player, not just an analyst. But before we get into it all, WNBA All Star is knocking on the door. You were an All Star in 2014 and 18. Real quick, what are some of your memories from those games?
First memory, it was super special because Nneka and I got to play against each other. I remember I was on the free throw line and someone was shooting a free throw and Nneka pulled my hair, which is like a cardinal sin because we were next to each other. And I turned around ready to fight. You guys know I've never fought before. And I was like, oh, it's Nneka. It's okay. Like, thanks, sis. That's one. And then the second one. So the first one, I believe, was in Connecticut. The second one was in Minnesota. And that meant a lot to me because I was someone, as you know, Sue, that dealt with major injuries. I had right knee microfracture surgery. I had left Achilles. So I was able to fight back and be an all-star after those injuries. So that one, like, basically was stop, smell the roses, like, be really proud of, like, how far I'd come. But All-Star is always a vibe. It's where you get to like sort of take a breath of fresh air, hang with like, other top players and not have to like be rivals with them all the time. So I'm really excited for All-Star weekend.
So I went and checked those All-Star games just to get like a quick refresher on what happened. You know what I remember about your first All-Star game? That was like the Shoney. That was the Shoney Schimmel game.
It was the Shoney.
That was
Schimmel
the
game.
Shoney Schimmel show, is what that was. And the sad part for me is, so for those that don't know, Shoney Schimmel voted in as a starter. She wasn't even like playing that much on her team that year. She was like doing all right in her rookie season. Gets voted in, has 29 points, wins MVP. And when I went and watched the highlights, because like, oh, let me get a memory. They were basically all on me. So like someone needs to torch all of that video. But she did like one of her 360s on BG, and then they cut to you. They cut to you, and you're like this. Oh,
that is so true. That was, what was that? That was 2014.
2014.
So the reason why I remember that is because last year was the first time since 2014 with Caitlin and Angel that two rookies made the All-Star game, which is kind of cool to see how the game develops because now we have three rookies this year in an All-Star game. But you are absolutely correct. Shoney Schimmel, for those who don't know, star out of Louisville. When it comes to professional players, like there's a category. You're one of the GOATs, Sue, obviously. But there are some like pro hoopers, like true hoopers, pickup style mixtape players. Shoney was absolutely one of those. And then also like seeing all the fervor and the new fans that are coming in, which is amazing. Shoney had like commotion when she came in because of her background being Native American. Like she would sell out arenas. And so, yeah, shout out to Shoney and Jude because we love sisters here, and Jude Schimmel, who also played as well.
That's so funny. Whenever we had
before they were moving to bigger arenas for Caitlin, it was the Shoney Schimmel show that was going on.
Yeah. When we had Native American Appreciation Night in Seattle, we just called it Shoney Schimmel Night. We're like, oh, tonight's Shoney Schimmel Night because she's from Oregon, I believe.
Perfect.
Yeah, she's from Oregon. So like all her friends and family, all her people.
She brought the tribe out every time.
They literally, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. Okay, so before we came on here, Megan and I did like an informal draft, okay? So obviously, Napheesa Collier is a captain. Caitlin Clark is a captain. We already know who the All Stars are, but me and Megan gave a little bit of a, we tried to see what we would do. So we're not going to tell you. We want to get your opinion, but we're not going to tell you whose team is who. So who do you think? We just did starters. So whose starting five do you think is best for the All Star game? Okay, team
Easy,
one.
Sue.
We'll call team.
Oh, sorry.
Team A.
Was that-
Team A. No, you're not going to know though. We're not telling you. So team A. And this is in alphabetical order, so nobody knows who we drafted when.
Okay.
Team A is Aaliyah Boston, Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson, and then Napheesa Collier was the captain.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Okay. Team B, captain Caitlin Clark, along with Paige Beckers, Nneka Ogwumike, Alicia Gray. I said that out of order by accident. Satu Sabali.
Give me the last three on Team A.
Team A, the last three were Sabrina, Stewie, Asia.
Wait, no. Was it Fee?
Yeah. So it goes Fee, Stewie, Asia, Sabrina, Aaliyah.
Yeah, it's got to be Team A. I'm sorry. The league is run
You're
by
going with the
power
bigs?
forward. I'm going.
What?
I mean, hello.
In an All-Star
Hello?
game?
I mean, hello.
Well, we all know whose team is whose now. You're
Wait,
going
Megan,
power
is that your
forwards
team?
in an All-Star
Was
game?
that your team?
That's my team.
I feel like in another
My
life,
team.
you totally want to be a big, Megan. You want to be a big.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
like,
like-
that is a good point. We probably would lose because we are bigs, but we had a lot of heart and we vibe out there. We just go out there and muck it up. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I know. When I got to the end, I was like, well, we
Who's
got
gonna
one
dribble?
person who can dribble the basketball, but
Who's
you
gonna
know
dribble?
what? It's fine.
That's what I'm saying.
So-
I feel like All-Star games is a lot of dribbling and a lot of threes, y'all. I'm just saying.
Let the record reflect. Before you even read names, I said your team, Sue, was better because I already knew where it was going to go. So just let the record reflect that. And then my biases kicked in.
Noted.
Yeah.
Janae, you already mentioned like the All-Star game you're in having 2 rookies. This year we've got 3 rookies. I think Paige especially voted in a little bit, like no surprise there. But what are your thoughts on Sona Citron and Kiki Iriafen being All-Stars in their rookie year?
Well deserved. You know, it's always hard because you want to say someone else deserved to be on the team, but then you have to take someone off and it feels so unfair. And what Sonia and Kiki have done as a tandem, it's one thing because I came in as a rookie class with like Alyssa Thomas and Chelsea Gray was a part of our rookie class, but she was injured. When you're the same position, it's a little bit harder. When you have 2 different positions, guard and post, pick and roll, it just works symbiotically from the jump. What Kiki did coming out the gates hot, which I want to give her a lot of credit because coming out of USC, I'm here in LA and I go to a lot of her games and she's obviously in my agency family to sweat the game. She had a very challenging senior year at USC, but she trusted herself and her work. And everyone saw that she was like super talented, but to be able to take the next step and start the year the way she did with double doubles and like face up game behind I called her baby Asia throughout her college career. To me was tremendous. I always knew she was capable of it, but for her to flip the switch was impressive. And then secondly, Sonia, one of our favorites. So I work as you work with ESPN too, but with Elle and Drea. And our favorite player that most people weren't talking about was Sonia Citron, just because of her 3-and-D ability, her efficiency. And like, we knew she's like a sleeper. She's a silent assassin. She'll go out there, she'll make open shots. And next thing you know, it's like, how'd she have 20? How that happen? How we let that happen? So, I do feel for Brittany Sykes, Slim, my former teammate, 18 points per game, 4.6 assists.
That's my
having
biggest
a
snub.
career year.
That's my biggest snub.
What's she got to do? What's she got to do? Yeah,
I
that's
know.
a tough one. That's like my favorite thing when a player's like, they're good in college, like obviously, but sometimes their games are just like professional game. Like they're not going to be as good in college as they are. It's like, a little bit like upside down world where you're just like, they get to the pros and they're just like Sonia's probably going to be in the league The rest of her, like, she's going to be in the league for a long time. I love when that happens. Okay, we're going to switch out a little bit.
Wait, very quickly, I just need to say one thing before we change out. I'm just like, I feel like when you have rookies like these two make the All Star game and have the seasons they're having, I continue to question college a little bit. I'm just like, do we need to change how, I'm just throwing this out there again, I talk about it all the time. Do we need to change how we evaluate college players? Like, we can't just go based on stats. You can't just go based on what team you're on and how far they go. It's got to be like, we got to like change how we evaluate, because here you have two kids that, I mean, don't get me wrong, they got drafted high. So it's not like they went like second round or anything. But to your point, they were considered sleepers and now they're all stars. So I just want to throw that in the ring.
And I think it's a good opportunity for basketball fans to like look at, because we're a very much star-driven sport now, both at the college level and at the pro level. And you have Juju and Hannah Hidalgo that get a lot of these, accolades, but on both of their teams, they have people that are future all-stars. And so I think it's cool as we continue to look at, women's college basketball, maybe start looking at people's teammates, because they shine bright because of who they're playing with as well. So it's been cool. I'm happy for them.
Same.
Yeah.
Sorry, babe.
Okay. I want to, we could probably go 3 hours, you two, on college basketball. But I want to, we have you on, you're just a media darling, so we'd be remiss not to ask you about some of the headlines going on in the league, but we're not going to do the boring version. But this season, I feel like I've seen a lot more players like using the, whether it's a press conference or media, whatever, to give, their feedback to the league in that sort of form. Obviously, we talked a few weeks ago on the show about Satu, talking about roster size, talking about the condensed schedule and just how tough that's been. Kelsey as well. I think she responded to a tweet put up about everybody's shooting slumps, in quote, shooting slumps. And she's like, we're tired. This is why everybody's shooting poorly right now. But Angel, Kelsey, Caitlin, Stephanie White, I mean, basically every single coach in the W is criticizing the refs for the number of fouls that are being called or not called. As a former PA leader, as a former All-Star and player, obviously as a member of the media now, what do you think of the method, I guess, for how players are raising these concerns, the sort of like how they're doing it? Because this is a really clear delineation, even just from like the last CBA negotiations. Obviously, Nneka being your sister, Madam President, Sue, you were super involved, so we saw it up close. But like, this is a much more public approach. So like, how do you feel the players are like using their platform, and like, what do you think of their methods, just as a media member?
Two-pronged. So Sue and I know one side of it, being both members of the executive committee in 2020, not negotiating the CBA. The WNBA, I think its strength as a league when it comes to business and these types of moments are its strategy. One, we are primarily all college educated women that want to make sure our messaging matters, and we represent communities that are important. Two, well, yes, that's one side. So normally when you see a WNBA player speaking, it is strategic, it is coordinated, it is calculated. Now, at the same time, we are witnessing unparalleled growth. Things that normally we would say freely now get dissected, and people make TikTok videos that are thesis statements on something you just put out there to the universe that normally we'd be like, oh, it's super casual, but now it's treated with the utmost importance. So I think it's a balancing act. I think a perfect example of this is Sophie Cunningham speaking about the expansion teams. She put it out there casually, not understanding that this is a serious thing. And that is like where you see the difference compared to that of, I believe, was it Elizabeth Williams and a couple of others, I forgot who else, spoke after a game in a press conference and used their time to speak about the CBA process and how they want to, grow with the league. So like, two things are happening. You have the strategy going out in the middle of negotiations, and then you have unparalleled interest where people express their thoughts. Nafisa is another one. She put out a tweet about, why would you think that unrivaled, I'm out here colluding? And then now that gets think pieces, articles, So that's the complicated world that we're in right now. And even me, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's hard. It's hard, but it's just part of the growth, the growing pains that come with new growth.
Yeah. How would you like to see the players' strategy evolve? Obviously, it's like all three of us know this, have used it, have turned the screw on it. It's such an effective strategy because no one wants to hear the owners talk about anything, really. And no one really wants to hear Kathy talk about anything, really. The players are the ones you want to hear from. They're the ones you want to watch play basketball. You want to know what they're wearing. You want to know everything about them. So this is the most effective medium. How do you want to see the players evolve in the next, just through this year, because we're in a CBA negotiation, but also like in the next couple of years, to your point about the growth of the league?
Yeah, I think there's an adjustment that needs to happen. People are sort of learning through fire, and I'd like to get your point of view, sir, Sue, about this because, I think everyone goes through a moment with this new interest where you're like, oh, shoot. I went through a moment where I was doing something where I was like, okay, like I'm trying to hold myself accountable and do better, do good by the league and everything. And, but then it's like, oh, shoot, like it can backfire on you. So I think it's a learning curve for everyone. It's been hard because doing it on national TV, trying to explain some of these things, like what matters to us, what our league represents, the demographics and all that stuff is one beast. Doing it to the masses on social or just the accessibility, like the game has changed so quickly. So I hope that I think we're all learning from each other's experiences and how to navigate this new world.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really hard. It's really hard. It's really complex because I feel like my experience in it is we all have an experience as women's basketball players in the world of women's basketball, college, to the WNBA for so many years. And then things really did change overnight in so many ways. And all these new voices came in, all the people dissecting, entered the space and trying to provide context and history of, what is 25 plus years it feels impossible in one conversation. You can't do it in a social media post. But that's where things get missed. It's people not understanding all the nuances that make our league what it is, that make things what they are, that make players say what they say, the reactions to things, so on and so forth. So I just think you have to continue because of your platform. You got to just keep chipping away at it and you can't get discouraged knowing that the rest of us are also going to be chipping away at it. And I think that's really kind of all we can do. The other thing I definitely am starting to realize is you got to do, and this is for everybody, honestly, probably less for us on this little interview. People don't just believe headlines, and you got to really read articles and really do research about things. You can't just see a headline that says so-and-so did this and believe it. You can't. It's that's the world we live in now. And I think again, in the WNBA, things get so twisted and turned around and misconstrued because people don't understand how it's been. They take what they know from probably the NBA and map it onto our league. And that's just never gonna work. But staying on no, go ahead. Sorry.
Can I give one example? There's been one thing that's been eating at me, and we're in the era of disinformation, of algorithms, of your feeds not representing the actual news. This is not just sports, this is just life. And you said, doing your homework matters. There's been something I've been doing a number of WNBA shows, and I think a perfect example of this, I don't have enough time, typically 30 seconds they give me an answer or 60 seconds to try to do a breakdown. I think a good example of this is Angel Reese's experience and the rebounds. She is tremendous as a rebounder, but I actually went and I crunched the numbers, and this concept of Mebounds is her trying to flip the narrative on its head and empower herself, and also with a super admirable combat online bullying. But I crunched the numbers out of her 13 or so rebounds per game. Only 1.5 of them are Mebounds or self-generated off of her misses. And so when you start crunching the numbers, it's it doesn't take much. Everyone tries to use those types of narratives to diminish her game, which to me is very unfair. But how do you get that information out there in a way that makes sense, that people can understand and come with a positive instead of using it to diminish? Those are the things that keep me up at night as an analyst. How do you celebrate the game and also educate others while there's so many voices, which is good. But y'all see me. It could work. I could go on and on and on.
Yeah, no. I think you just got to keep doing it. You just got to be yourself and keep doing it. And sometimes that means making mistakes, and that's okay too. Other people are making mistakes all the time, so it's you just got to keep going with it. Because if anything, the real deal. I think that's most important.
Support for A Touch More comes from Icy Hot. There's a reason comebacks feel so good. because there's nothing worse than pain and self-doubt. But when you overcome it and get back to doing what you do best, whew, that's the best feeling in the world. You push your body to its limits and push right past them. It's a satisfying feeling, and it doesn't come for free. Too often, pain gets in the way. Stiff muscles, a kink in your shoulder, or even an old injury that pops back up at the worst time. But we're past letting pain hold us back. Icy Hot offers fast-acting, powerful pain relief for your joints and muscles post-workout. It starts with a cooling sensation that dulls the pain, and then a warming sensation to relax it. Ice works fast, and heat makes it last. Their formula contains 4 times the pain-relieving ingredient than the leading competitor. Plus, it's a no-mess, quick-dry application, so you can roll it on comfortably and keep it moving. With Icy Hot, you're so back. Buy Icy Hot Original No Mess now. Support for A Touch More comes from Netflix. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, 2 of the most dynamic and fierce athletes in the world, are facing off once more on Friday, July 11th. It's the first ever women's boxing trilogy fight, and the stakes have never been higher. The last time these 2 rivals met aired live on Netflix, and it was the most watched women's sporting event in history. The event will feature 5 fights across the card, with 9 current world champions and 4 of the top 10 women's pound-for-pound fighters in the world, as rated by BoxRec. It's also setting a new financial standard for female fighters, with Taylor and Serrano poised to receive record-breaking purses and raising the benchmark even higher as the highest-paid female fighters of all time. I'm going to be tuning in. Don't miss the epic showdown live from Madison Square Garden in New York City. Watch Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano on Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live on Netflix.
So just to put a bow on our little CBA conversation, when it's all said and done, given what you know, I don't mean intricacies, I don't mean you've been talking to NECA, nothing like that, but just given what you know about the league and what's at stake, what does a successful CBA look like to you?
So I thank you for asking, one, because NECA is so responsible. So all the time, I try to pull information out of her. I'm like, so what y'all really thinking about? And she handles this, you know what I mean? So if her sister can't get all the tea, but she does give me a little helpful hints. My main sources typically are amazing executive director of the WNBPA, who's great with educating. So these are, again, I always put that disclaimer out there. These are my opinions, not anyone else's. I think a win for the players. I mean, I hate saying it's all about the money, but the money will show. I always tell people the way we got to where we are is not because we valued money. We both played in the WNBA. I started off at ESPN 9 years ago, not getting paid much. We took opportunity over compensation. But now the league has put in collectively, as you mentioned, all of the greats. Over time, we just celebrated Candace Parker's jersey retirement. We're about to celebrate Super's statue. You know what I'm saying? All of the work that has been put in over time has got us to the moment where compensation is a big reflector of value and revenue. So I do believe that, hopefully in my head, $1 million contract should be on the table for the WNBA and the next CBA. I'm manifesting that. I'm putting that out in the universe. I believe universal standards for all teams when it comes to practice facilities needs to be there. I mean, I played in LA respectfully. That was a challenge. I had to take a golf cart to go get an ice bath. I'm someone who dealt with injuries that made it harder for me to perform. Sharing those types of resources with football players at community college, no shade. I love my people in LA, but that was the reality. That's the difference between a player being here and going my sister went to at her age, 33, to Seattle that had a state of art. Shameless plug, same state of the art practice facility. So I think making sure that these resources are universal. It's not just practice facilities. It's codifying charter flights. It's making sure that, a lot of people think about expansion when it comes to players being roster size and having more teams, more people competing. It's also making sure the coaches, we have in the NBA, you see a front bench, you see a back bench. You see all these therapists and health professionals, the women need that too, if not more so, because a lot of them are playing elsewhere as well. They're playing full time. So they need full time support. And then lastly, I would say I know it's going to be, I think the one, thing that I don't think people probably are thinking about is like retired player benefits or player benefits when you have many years of service. Just creating a network, because I think some other leagues, like particularly the NFL, they have a really good benefit system for players after they're done, knowing what their bodies accrued. We took a step forward in the right direction in 2020, getting all of the women's fertilization, surrogacy, healthcare, type of, motherhood benefits and workplace benefits, paid maternity leave. But I do think expanding upon that beyond just the immediate future and now like long-term life. Because let's be real, y'all, like these knees be kneeing when you don't play. And you might need
my back is
you might need a new
now.
one.
My back is backing. I'm like, I never even had a back problem. My back is backing.
But like, that's because how many years you play, Sue?
Long enough. Okay,
yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you might need to hit up the Seattle Storm in 5 years and be like, yo, I might need some help. Like I think those types of things are gonna matter in this next CBA in my head, with no verification by elder sister. Okay.
No, those are all great points. So wait, I do want to get your thoughts just on like the refereeing of our league right now, the physicality that everybody talks about. It's like such a top topic. So what are your thoughts?
Safe space, okay? Safe space. I always say it like these types of things, but I know it's like a podcast. Everyone's gonna listen, but I just want people to know this is just what comes to my mind. It's not proven scientifically. This is my theory, and I probably am wrong, but this is where my brain always goes to. We always know the WNBA has always been a physical league. That will never change. One. I do believe that the WNBA has been an incubator for referees. So you have two types of referees in the W. You have the long-term flick on a game. You and I, Sue, can be like, oh, there goes this person, there goes that person. The people that are forever WNBA referees. But you also have a number of referees that are coming in that get elevated. And I think we have to change the language of that, but like elevated to the NBA, where I believe it probably is more lucrative for them to be an NBA referee. So like you have no stability. Like you have the new ones that come in for a little bit of time and then they pivot off and go. So like I do believe, that it's hard because that never creates an environment where like you can see the growth of how people are officiated every year. It's like there's always change, there's always new, which is good for opportunities. But I don't know. What do you feel about that?
No, I totally agree. For those that don't know, to Chiney's point, the WNBA and the G League are used as like stepping stones for some referees to get to the NBA. This is known the same way we turn on a WNBA game and we know we can rattle them off. I'm turning on NBA games now, and I'm like, oh, there's so. So it is true that when you have new referees entering the league, they don't necessarily understand it or understand the play. And I think where I land on this is the players are always going to take what is given. If they can be physical, they're going to be physical.
Yep.
This is any sport, any league. If referees call all the ticky-tacks in the first 5 minutes, players are going to stop. So the referees do dictate some of this. And I think you make a really good point that kind of adds into the pie of when it's a new ref, they might not understand how this league works. They might not understand how certain players can fool you. I mean, we literally, I don't know if you remember, but when we would have referees come and talk to every team every season at the start of the season, and they kind of run through like some of the rule changes or some of the things they're going to focus on. And for a couple of years, one of the focus was called fooling the ref. And they would literally show clips of WNBA players fooling the ref. I don't mean flopping, like so actually fooling them.
Diana?
Yeah. The D rule.
You said it, not me. But it's true. And I think new refs don't know which players are fooling you and which players aren't. So it really is a good point. I think it does stem a lot from just like how they call the game, because I think players are just going to play to that. So my take has always been like, it's not that the WNBA players want to play physical all the time. It's just like, this is what it is. This is how it's being called. So we're just living in that world.
And I completely agree. I think just really quick. I think setting the tone will fix a lot. Like, I mean, pick a direction. The NBA got better or more competitive when they picked the direction of letting it be more physical, right? The WNBA, maybe this is the point of reset where it's like, okay, do we want that increased level of physicality that leads to X, Y, and Z? Or are we going to pick a direction and say, hey, we're going to make sure that we officiate this game. We create our presence early so we don't have to be a factor late.
I think something that sadly, I think is just like an ever present thing in women's sports, or at least has been. And I think it's changing a lot, is that the players have always been at a much higher level than most of the staff, to be honest. Like there's been obviously a number of good coaches, but like if you're better than the refs and you're better than the coaches, and like your trainers are always changing in and out and your staff is always changing in and out and you're getting new refs every year, like to your guys' point, the players are going to take whatever is on the table, and then they're going to try to take whatever's in your pocket. So it's like we're always going to turn the screw in that way. So if you get someone green, you're like, okay, let's see. Let's see if I can get this foul. Let's see if I can get this foul. Let's see if I can get this foul.
And what I will say is great players adapt. And a lot of people started witnessing that last year with Caitlin Clark. People had so many narratives of the physicality with her, but she adapted and she had the strongest second half of the season last year. Another good example of this is Asia Wilson. We know this. When she came into the league, balling, everyone knew that left-handed jumper, her arm would come forward. So we'd all be fouling her because it was like her shooting motion wasn't like this. It would sort of come up this way and we'd fall into the trap. But there became a point where people were like, why is Asia like not happy with the foul calls? Because people stopped calling it because people started scouting that accordingly. And she adapted and became the first WNBA 1,000-point scorer. So like there's natural ebbs and flows with the game on both sides. And I think the greatest players learn how to like not milk it, but use like just adapt their game to whatever is necessary.
We've talked about this a little bit through the CBA, through the players' use of the media, and just in general, how important storytelling has been in the growth of the WNBA. And I think just to point on quickly about the CBA, I would love to see like an aspirational storytelling by the players, because I think that's what's gotten people so excited. They're like, oh, this is what it could be. The $1 million, salary. I think that helps. Like that helps you go online and talk, or that helps you go on TV and talk about like, no, this is what this league is. So I want to get into your producing career and your other career. All of us have like 5 careers. I love it so much. We're like so dynamic. It's great. So you started working as an analyst years before you even retired. So you've been double dipping for a while. Now you have a new scripted series out called The W, in the works for Peacock. What can you tell us about this? It's from your production company, Victorious. Can you tell us anything? What's the teaser? What's the trailer? What do we need to know about it? And when can we see it?
Okay. First of all, don't act like I was not inspired by you guys, how you guys work because I think you guys bought like the book rights for one of the stalker stories, right? And you're also dipping into that as well. I remember that. I saw that news article and I was like, dope.
Yeah.
So teaser, W, y'all, this is like, we are athletes. I'm sorry. It is hard to be an athlete, as you know, in entertainment, because we are people that like results quick. We play a game, we see the points, we know where we can grow, we go to sleep and move. They're like, oh, respectfully, it's like, I need to be inspired. I need time to tap into my creative
circle
juices.
back.
I'm like, oh no. I'm always on the WhatsApp chats like, how we doing, y'all? How's it moving? How's the script going? So where are we in the process today? Thank you for asking, one, because it's been a huge labor of love. And honestly, like you guys, this was like standing, I'm not a baseball person, but like going to baseball and like swinging on the first one and hitting a home run, we're so grateful for it. We worked this story concept years before the boom that we're experiencing right now, so that it was polished and ready in the moment, and it just sold in the pitch in 15 minutes, which was really cool. All right, we have the first I read the first episode. The script has been finished. It's now being deliberated on by network. And then hopefully right after that, we'll get the series order. So fingers crossed, everyone in the women's basketball fandom, put your prayers in. But yeah, it's crazy because it's based off of my agent, Allison Gaylor's life. Never thought that this was the plan. Like you guys, I don't want someone to steal my idea, but I was pitching something to Disney that you guys would all know, and it's like my dream project. But they were like, oh, we have too many basketball projects. At the time they had, I don't know if you guys remember, John Stamos had like this Disney Plus where he like failed at life and he had to go coach his girls basketball team. That was like a Disney Plus show a little while. And I was like, hey guys, I don't know if that's like the right narrative we should be approaching. But Keep my hands up. Respectfully. And then they're like, oh, we have this new project with Kevin Durant. That was a swagger project. And so they're like, we have a lot going on in basketball, but we like the way you and your agent kind of move. Because I signed with Allison when I was the number one pick, 22 years old, and Allison was 24, fresh out of law school. This was when everyone was going to go play overseas. And I was like, well, I want to do something different. I kind of want to focus on marketing myself here also. And so I sort of explained. So you guys know Allison, like our dynamic is very funny. She's like best friend and business partner. And when we showed up doing this pitch for this idea that I love to my soul, they're like, we have too much basketball, but you guys are interesting. Give us something on that. And so we gave them our dynamic of like our crazy hustle as players that focused back 10 years ago on like, it's basically like Entourage, but the female version. That man, Vinny Chase, goes in a commercial and then all of a sudden becomes a Hollywood star. A woman could never. A woman could never.
Never.
So,
Literally never.
Our point of view is just basically showing the hustle that women have, the grind, the sacrifices. And like, you guys all know the story because you guys are all part of it, you know? So it's really exciting. I read the first episode. I have to get comfortable because they be like doing things that are like out of the box, but it's exciting. And just keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully very soon we'll start getting into like production mode, writer's room, scouting talent. And then maybe next year it'll be ready for the screens.
Okay. So
I'm available for a cameo. Just I'm putting that out there. Available for a cameo.
I am using you both. 100%.
Let's go.
I'm down for a cameo.
Let's go.
Both of y'all.
Wait, I'm curious if you've had this experience. So you mentioned we bought the rights to Cleat Cute, which is now being made into a TV show, which is called Playing the Field. And what we're having so much fun is because we're like, well, this is obviously about soccer, but we're like the soccer sports experts. And so the showrunner will come and be like, hey, is it realistic for X, Y, and Z to happen? And we'll be like, oh, absolutely. Or it'll be like, no, it'd be this. Have you had that experience? Are you like the basketball expert?
Oh, absolutely. I remember reading one line, and hopefully I'm not giving too much tea because we have amazing writers, and one of them is a huge basketball fan, plays basketball and everything. But like, it was something odd with like the script, like, oh, you were amazing cutting to the square. And I'm like, oh, no. Let's change that. Let's change that to you were great last night coming off a dribble handoff. You know what I mean? Like, so just putting our natural vernacular and trying to make it like it's just funny because like, it's so authentic to us. It's like, and then we don't realize that we're actually doing the thing that these Hollywood people are doing. Like you're writing scripts, you're changing lines, like you're that involved in the process. So I'm sure, I know, it's like you just have to take a deep breath and be like, okay.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. This is our world. I love it.
It's such a like a great space for all of us to get into because we've just had literally decades of our lives that haven't been mined, and like it's like we don't even need a ton of creativity. We're just like, okay, back in 2012, that crazy ass thing happened to all of us. Back in 2013, this other crazy ass thing. So it's fun to be able to like, I think we're still having to convince, you know, the kind of the networks, the higher ups. I mean, I remember like Sue, your doc is like, you're trying to sell it and they're like, oh, we already have a basketball doc. And I'm like, and you have 12 shows about quarterbacks crashing out. Like we've seen it. We know that. We got it. Anyways, I totally digress. But moving on to just this last thing that you're doing, which I want to hear all about, and you have your hands in everything. But earlier this year, you announced that you're going to be the ambassador for Africa League basketball. And tell us just like how you're working with that organization, like what people need to know about. It's obviously growing the game of basketball across the continent of Africa, but let us know how you're involved in that.
Thank you. So it's cool because like as you grow older, and I'm sure you guys can relate to it. When you came into the league, your goal was to be an All Star, champion, all those things, which most of y'all got, unfair, Olympian, whatever, you know. But then I bet you like maybe halfway through, you started realizing those things don't really matter. What mattered is impact. And so as I started finishing my career the last, 3 or 4 years, I was like, what really gets me going is when I go to a game and I see a young fan, particularly like, maybe a little, a black girl that will come up and say like, Chiney, like, I see myself in you, or I watch you on TV and I know you're hustling, like, and I'm like, you're beautiful. Like, you got it. Like, you can do it, and it wasn't just my girls in, Houston, Texas, or LA, or in Connecticut. It was my family back home in the diaspora. And so ever since I became a pro, I was very passionate about making sure that everyone felt seen and represented. And things changed for me because when I was at Stanford, I studied international relations. I studied abroad in Nigeria for, 8 weeks, and I did this basketball camp that was a charity camp. And I remember going there and I was like, there was a little girl that came up to me and she's like, I don't know if I can go play on the court. I said, why not? She's like, well, that's not what we are allowed to do here, And it just, my brain just started moving differently. And so it just was like I started going on many trips. I've been into Nigeria, I've been to Ghana, I've been to Rwanda, I've been to Kenya, I've been to South Africa, I've been to Angola with President Biden as a member of his council. So it just changed my whole perspective on life. And I got the amazing opportunity recently to be named the first female, Basketball Africa League ambassador. And I think it just represents that like basketball is a global game. If you love it, no matter where you are. And so in a few weeks, I'm going to go to Rwanda with Giants of Africa with Masai Ujiri, I don't think you guys know what that man is doing on the continent. Like he's building arenas, he's building complexes around those arenas. He is completely changing the infrastructure alongside the Basketball Africa League. I'll host a camp in Nigeria very soon. And so these roles matter to me. So go on TV, yay, love it, celebrate the W, celebrate basketball. But these are the things that actually motivate me each and every day. It's not like the attention we get of being public figures. It's changing the hearts and minds and making young women, particularly young women that look like me, feel like they can think out of the box, because I never thought that my life was possible this way. Neck and I fell into basketball. We fell in love with it and it changed our lives. And we understand that there's so many different systems that make it harder for different people. And so to be able to exist in this role and sort of show young girls that you can dream too, because we always hear about the Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Victor Oladipo, the Joel Embiid, the Sue Birds now, the Nneka Ogwumike. Those are the ones, those stories, the women need to be told so that they can dream too, no matter where they are, whether it's Houston, LA, Connecticut, Seattle, New York, So that's a big passion of mine. And I just want to make sure that everyone feels seen. And you guys know, this is just it's in my blood. It's in my DNA. So thank you for asking.
Yeah, of course.
No,
Amazing.
well said. Well said. Your impact is felt in pretty much everything you're doing. You're going to have.
With me?
Yeah. I've never been.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I don't say no to travel. Let's go.
Oh, we would love a travel.
We would love it.
We love a trip. No, it's cool. It's like basketball gave you this platform to literally change the world and change people's hearts and minds. And it's you can choose to do a million different things. And there's just things that are so obviously special and it's so obviously make sense to you. And it's then it brings you to a different part. Now your life is being changed by them and vice versa. It's just a really cool interchange.
I love the idea of, go ahead.
I was going to say, you do the same thing with soccer, standing up, when it comes to advocacy, when you think about athletes being unapologetically themselves, that you did, girl, you stood in the line of fire 10 toes down. So we feed off of that.
Yeah. And I always, I'm a big believer on, especially for young girls, you have to have, it can't just be some inspirational story. Yes, of course. You want to tell stories of athletes, tell your story, Chiney, and that can hopefully inspire. But you also want these young girls to have something that they can aspire. It can be aspirational. They can actually be this thing. Because I think that's on the men's side what we see. You just named Joel Embiid. I mean, you can go down the list. Giannis. It's people are going to watch them, hear their stories, and want to be them. And that's how you grow sports. That's how the whole aspirational idea. Okay. Yep. 2 things before we let you go. One, real quick, as we mentioned, it's about to be the WNBA All Star game, which essentially means we're kind of sort of at the halfway point. We'll call it that. DB just signed with Phoenix. What do you think the impact there is going to be?
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Ooh, surprise.
I know. Everybody was like, finally.
She's gonna do her thing. I think DB joining, this is a team that's a sleeper championship team, in my opinion. The way that they have seamlessly come together with so many new pieces is wild. So I think the pressure is going to be a little bit off of her in some ways because AT knows how to get her going. Y'all see what AT doing with Sammy Whitcomb right now? You know what I'm saying?
Sammy, y'all.
Whap, 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 whap.
36 and 25 minutes. 29 in the first half. I love when Sammy gets on a heater like that.
Yeah, and I think that's the cool thing about playing with Alyssa Thomas now. Like, talk about players that lean into how the referees officiate. That's KC. She's someone you want on your team and not who you want to play against, but we all know their connection. And so I think it's if DB's happy as someone who has been a legend of the game, then I'm happy. I think that this puts them like a team you do not want to see in the postseason. But yeah, there was no surprise here. We're like, oh, it finally hit. It finally hit.
Yeah.
Okay. Last but not least, we don't let anybody leave this without playing a little game. So we got some bench start cut for you. We took it easy on you, I think.
Thank you.
We'll see. Okay.
Thank you.
First up, bench start cut. Being a player, being a commentator, being a producer.
Oh, that is easy. Thank you.
Okay.
Let's see. Being a player, being a commentator. This might be controversial, but I would say right now, cut being a producer. I love it and I'm going to do it and I'm going to be great at it. But like my patience is like tested each and every day.
Tough. It's tough.
Bench being a player, but there's a reason why.
Okay.
There's a reason why. Start being a commentator. I love the idea of being a commentator now because instead of being so focused on myself and like, how stressful it is as a player, like your stats, your aspirations, like was this season a success or not? Was this game a success or not? As a commentator, I have found so much peace because I can celebrate everybody, and that to me is like the healthiest, most fun, and like embracing the pivots that life, injuries derailed so much for me, but like this pivot ends up being the biggest blessing. My dad has this saying, every disappointment is a blessing if you allow it to be. Now I get to go on air and like talk about what I love about Asia instead of have to guard her. Yeah. Talk about what I love about so many great players, and that's why I'm starting being a commentator because it's like you're surrounded by flowers and you love the smell. Let's go. Weird, but yeah.
No, I thought it was going to be because commentators' knees and backs aren't as banged up.
Much better. Yeah.
Okay. Last one. We know you're a Houston native. You ride or die. The Rockets, the Texans, or the Comets?
Come them Texans. Love our team. Love our squad. Love CJ, but respectfully. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to bench my Rockets. I love KD. I do.
I know. Are you excited
we won
about
the
that?
offseason. Girl, I am freaking thrilled. I am thrilled. Like, I know that we had a young core, but my God, our GM Rafael Stone is doing his thing. We kept all of the key major players. Jalen Green, good luck in Phoenix. Love you, but I'm happy with where we're at.
Bye.
Yeah, you know that meme of that girl?
Bye.
And then I'm going to start my Houston Comets. I was so mad because I thought we might be the team because we heard rumblings that we're going to get a nostalgia franchise back. It ended up being Detroit and Cleveland, which I'm happy for. But I'm like, dang. But I have a feeling Houston's going to get in the fold. So yes, like forever, 4 championships, standards, WNBA dynasty, like that is my goal. So yeah, starting the Comets all day, every day.
Do you have any Comets memories? I mean, you were probably so young. Okay, you do? Okay.
I do. Wow. Great question. So you guys know we were like nerdy little girls in Houston, Texas, Nigerian American, like just doing you guys glasses. I don't know if you guys heard,
I've seen the pictures.
Oh
I
my
love
gosh,
them. I love all the pictures of you guys with little kids.
So when I think we were moving homes when Neck and I were doing amazing at Cypher High School, like winning state championships. We moved from Spring, Texas to Cypress, Texas, because my mom worked in the school district. She's currently an assistant superintendent of our school district. When we were moving, Neck and I shared a room for most of our lives up until maybe like the last 3 or 4 years until we moved to that new house, like until high school. When we were moving, I had this, you guys know how you have like these little boxes where you put all your like amazing little toys and knickknacks that you held through the years as a kid?
Yeah, I still have one.
Yeah. It's like a treasure box.
Yes, I think I still have one too in Houston. So I opened it up when we were moving. So I was probably around like 13 at the time. And I found a Houston Comets ticket. And I was like, what? So my dad worked for Compaq back in the day, and he got free tickets to a Comets game. Yep, the Compaq Center. And this is when we were all in basketball, hooping in AAU in high school. And that unlocked my first ever basketball memory, which was not when I started playing when I was 9. It was when my dad brought us to a game because he got free tickets. And I remember sitting in the stands. You know how you can like get those vague memories of being a kid? It's like, oh, I remember that day I sat in the stands. Maybe I was like, because they were there in 96, 97, something like that. I was like 4.
Yeah, like from 97 to like 2000 something.
I was like 4, 5, right?
Yeah, you're a baby.
And I was like, that's where I was like, it feels like destiny. Like looking at that ticket. I don't know why my parents made me hold it, kept it in my lockbox. And I was like, oh my God, that was the first time I really discovered basketball. So it's like full circle. That's my college memory.
No, I love it. You saw the ticket. Yeah, and it meant something. It meant something. Well, Chiney, it means something that you came on our show. Thank you so much for joining A Touch More. Everybody, you can catch her literally everywhere. I don't even know. How do I even pub this? It's like ESPN. She's got her own production company. She's got shows coming out. We're all going to Africa. This has been a very productive show.
That's happening. That is. No, I love you guys. You guys, I mean, the platforms that you guys have created, how you push boundaries is aspirational. Okay. Not just inspirational.
Well played.
You guys know your family. I love y'all. I love y'all. 10
love you
toes
too.
down. I love y'all.
Love you too. Thanks for coming on,
Love you too, Chiney. Support for A Touch More comes from Icy Hot. There's a reason comebacks feel so good, because there's nothing worse than pain and self-doubt. But when you overcome it and get back to doing what you do best, woof, that's the best feeling in the world. You push your body to its limits and push right past them. It's a satisfying feeling, and it doesn't come for free. Too often, pain gets in the way. Stiff muscles, a kink in your shoulder, or even an old injury that pops back up at the worst time. But we're past letting pain hold us back. Icy Hot offers fast-acting, powerful pain relief for your joints and muscles post-workout. It starts with a cooling sensation that dulls the pain, and then a warming sensation to relax it. Ice works fast, and heat makes it last. Their formula contains 4 times the pain-relieving ingredient than the leading competitor. Plus, it's a no-mess, quick-dry application, so you can roll it on comfortably and keep it moving. With Icy Hot, you're so back. Buy Icy Hot Original No Mess now.
We have a special segment this week. It is called She's a Fighter, presented by Netflix. We always love highlighting athletes. This time we want to highlight athletes who have grit, who have had to fight through adversity. To simply put it, who has had to go the extra inch to finish a play, finish a game, finish a match, finish a season, finish a career even. And for this segment, we want to recognize Candace Parker. Her jersey was raised into the rafters at Crypto Arena as the Sparks retired her number 3 after being the number 1 pick in the 2008 WNBA draft out of Tennessee. Candace spent 13 of her 16 seasons with LA. She won a championship with the Sparks in 2016. And for those that don't remember, 2016 was a really challenging year for Candace. She was left off, did not make the Olympic team. We talk about scorched earth, going on that scorched earth season. That was 2016 for Candace. She took her team to the finals. She won the championship. She was the MVP of the WNBA finals. Chicago will retire her jersey later this summer. She is a 2-time WNBA MVP with the Sparks in 2008. By the way, she won MVP in 2008 as a rookie. She also won Rookie of the Year that same year, only player to ever do that. She was also MVP in 2013. She's the franchise's career assist leader with 1,331 assists and is second in rebounds and points. She averaged 16.9 points, 8.6 rebounds, and 3.9 assists, along with 1.6 blocks and 1.3 steals. We talked about having to go that extra inch. Candace literally did it all across the board. During her second season, Candace gave birth to a daughter, Layla. She returned to practice weeks later. The definition of a fighter. She also has 2 young sons, has worked as a broadcaster, and is an author since her playing career has ended. Candace, congratulations on literally everything. You're an inspiration. And now it's time for everybody's favorite segment, Extra Time with Megan. This week, we're going to head to Switzerland. The Euros are underway. They're underway all month. Megan, what have you seen and what have you liked so far?
Well, I'll tell you what I have a little extra time for, Sue. And that is just honestly another major championship. I love it. I loved it as a player, obviously getting to play in it, but just like waking up every day there's banger games on. You get to watch them. It's either your game day or like you're just watching them. And then obviously as a fan, especially with the time difference, it's like these games, I'm waking up, it's coffee, it's Euros, it's high level football. I love it so much. This is who I have time for. Spain. Wow. And Spain has time for goals. They don't have much time for defending, but they have a lot of time for goals. And that is basically how they're beating every team. They just smash someone 6-2. They smash Belgium. I love it. Putellas, multiple time FIFA player of the year winner, World Cup winner, Champions League winner, all the things, is like really in form. She just came back during the World Cup from an ACL in 23 and just like wasn't quite herself. And then obviously had a great year last year with Barcelona, but they dropped the Champions League final to Arsenal. But like she's their maestro. She's like the 10. She's the one pulling all the strings. She's their special player. I think another really important player, your player, Sue Astaire, an out and out number 9.
Go Gotham.
Go Bats. Like, I just think it's so priceless to have that singular 9 whose only job in the tournament is to score goals. For us, it was Alex Morgan every time. It was just like, they know that this is all they're trying to do. You know that this is all they're trying to do. And just to like have that kind of like driving force, still do. And then they just still fucking do it. How does it happen? She's huge for them. I think the like overall concern, if I have one, defending a little bit, if they get into a situation where they're going against a little more organized team, maybe a France or England if they come out, maybe a Germany, maybe that might kind of like bop them up a little bit. And then also their other star player, Atiana Bonmati, was hospitalized with viral meningitis. And
I know you had it.
Speaking from experience, I got taken out. I mean, it took me, I don't think she has it as bad as I did because she's obviously
someone
playing.
Punctured your spine or something, right?
Well, yeah, then I had a spinal leak. It was a whole thing. I was out for like, I wasn't myself, I feel like, for like 6 months. It was
Didn't you like think you had mono
12
or something?
Yeah, I did get mono. I got mono on the back of it. It was bad.
That's a triple whammy. Has anyone ever had mono, meningitis, and a spinal leak in the same?
You guys, it's just
and you were in Australia.
And you were in Australia needs to be talked about.
And you're in Australia and you had to fly back with it.
It was, the headache was banging. She did play. Atiana did play 45 minutes in the second game. So that's a good sign. Hopefully it's not that bad and she's recovering, but that's kind of one of those things I think you're just going to have to see. Hopefully they can continue to kind of limit her minutes and build her strength back up. Another team I have time for, I always have time for them in the early rounds. We'll see if they have time for themselves in the later rounds. This is France. France in every single tournament.
Are you talking shit?
Yeah. In every single tournament I have ever seen them play, they are the best team. They're the most talented. They're the most creative. They got the best players. They play the nicest style. They're fucking awesome. And then the second pressure gets put on, they crumble. That's just my experience. I don't think they can argue that. Now, this team, very different
friends
team.
On that team?
Yeah, they know it. Listen, until you pop out and do the thing. I said this of England. They crumble under pressure when it gets to the big moment until they won the Euros. And I haven't said that since. They now know how to win. Spain now knows how to win. France hasn't shown that they know how to win yet. Their team is stacked, though, particularly Delphine Cascarino, who plays with our dear San Diego Wave in the NWSL. We love that. She's been one of the best players, if not the best player, all year. She absolutely destroyed England on that right side. Unbelievable.
Yeah, even I noticed that.
Tore it up. I mean, Jess Carter, that is not her natural position for sure. I don't know what was going on England. Yeah, the left back. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Delphine is impossible. speed on 10, dribbling on 10, understanding the game on 10. Like, it's just like a proper footballer who has all the physical attributes as well. Delphine's been amazing forever. I'm really interested to see about France, though. I say this every time I get roped in because they're nice, like nice. Mm-hmm. And we'll see how it all pops out. We're just now getting into the second group game sort of round. So
we're going to be setting alarms again?
No, games are at 9 in the morning. We're good.
Thank God.
Yeah, we're good.
Had to set an alarm for Jess Fishlock.
Exactly. That's exactly where I'm going. You took it right from my little jaws. A huge shout out to Jess Fishlock and honestly, the entire nation of Wales. The women's team has made it to their first major championship. This has been, I mean, I've known Jess obviously for 100 years. This has been Jess's like dream for so long to make it. I don't know if anybody caught them singing the national anthem. I don't think they recovered into the game. They left it all out there on that song. And I just honestly love to see it. Jess, I love you so much. Congratulations on this huge accomplishment for Wales and for making that team so much better. And good luck in your next game. I love it. The other thing, attendance is in a totally not shocking turn of events, just smashing. More than 600,000 tickets have been sold. I love to see it. Sponsorships are up by 100%. Revenue is up by over 100%. The prize pool is up 150%. There's 20 NWSL athletes also competing, which I love. NWSL and American leagues generally have just always been such a home for international players, and like international players have always made the league so good. So I just like love to see that. I still think that I think the sponsorship numbers, I'm looking at this correctly, it's going to generate around 40 million in sponsorship, which is up 112% over the 2022 event. I still think it's wildly undersold by FIFA. I think this is an issue with FIFA that it's not like fully turning this. I think they're just like, yeah, it's fine. Like we're making 38 million. Like there's no reason this shouldn't bring in more than that, especially with the amount of people and the amount of tickets sold and all of it. But yeah, this is a huge tournament. I've loved it so much. We're obviously in the very beginning stages. The final, which we will at least tentatively be going to. I'm very excited. Heading over to Switzerland. Let's go. We love a quick trip into a final. Into a sports final. But this will be going on all month, so we'll be keeping everybody updated, and you'll be getting all my little extra times all months long. And the NWSL doesn't even play again, I think, until like August 1st, the beginning of August after the Euros are done. So it's all Euros all the time.
Get your soccer fix. Get your soccer fix.
Get your soccer. All Euros all the time. Also, shout out Women's Africa Cup of Nations is also underway all month. That kicked off on July 5th. We had Nigeria doing the business, always one of the best teams out of Africa. They beat Tunisia 3-0. Morocco, host nation, ties Zambia 2-2. We're going to be tapping into that all month as well. So there's going to be a lot of extra time. Megan's got a lot of time for the soccer. She loves a big tournament. She loves a big championship. So we're going to have a lot of extra time for that. But tap in, everybody. Let's go.
All right. Now we're going to move on to Bicker of the Week. Only this week, it's going to be slightly different. We had a real life in the wild experience in regards to one of our old Bicker of the Weeks. And this one takes us back to Knoxville a couple weeks ago. There was an ice cream shop around the corner from the hotel. It was tip-top, by the way.
Very good.
Soft serve. Are you serious? I haven't had soft serve.
Honey lavender soft serve.
Oh, I got chocolate vanilla swirl. Basic. We know. We already know I'm a basic bitch.
Yeah, we already know.
So we're on the line. The line's like out the door. This place is popping. We're on the line. We're about to like approach where we order. And a woman goes, hey, like, so which one bites the cone? And it was just one of the best moments ever because I got to say, that's Megan. Megan's the cone biter.
This psychopath.
No, but it was a very sweet moment. Our friend Kay, she actually works for Baron Rings, who gave us our amazing rings for Women's Hall of Fame. And so she went on to tell us how she listens to the pod and how she heard this particular Bicker of the week, and how funny to then see us at an ice cream shop where I didn't let Megan have any licks. Because we know
she didn't even offer. She didn't offer. I didn't ask, but
you were
she
repulsed.
also didn't offer. My favorite part of the whole interaction was that her husband, who's a soccer fan, knew all about what CONCACAFing was.
I forgot that part.
I forgot what it
totally
means
forgot that part. Or I blocked that part out.
Be in CONCACAF, get CONCACAFed, have someone CONCACAFing. He knew all about it, and he was like, "Babes, I see you."
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I
was like, you two are the only ones right now, and definitely in the state of Tennessee who know what
for
CONCACAF
sure.
is.
I mean, 100%.
Actually, that's not true. You had a soccer player come up to you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the soccer players know. We know what fuckery CONCACAF means.
All right, Megan, before we go, as always, we're going to leave you with a touch more. What do you got for us?
Oh, I got them Mebounds for you today.
You got them Mebounds?
I got them. If it's coming off the board, it's mine. My shirt is on the way. I obviously bought a crop top. I'm going to be wearing it. I love a good branding and marketing.
I thought you were going to say clapback.
I love a good clapback. I love being petty. This is so smart from Angel. Angel continues to be brilliant in this space. Not only getting them things off the boards, but in like marketing, branding, entrepreneurship. She just has like a knack for it. And her video was I don't know how long she's been doing this, but she was like, you know what? Fair play. Fair play to the haters. And also, thank you for this 6-figure, potentially moving into a 7-figure idea that I'm just going to trademark for myself. The Mebounds, rebounds, key bounds, free bounds, B bounds, whatever bounds. If it's coming off the board, it's mine. And now my money is also yours, Angel. So just thank you. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. And it's for a good cause. She's going to stop cyberbullying.
Literally.
Even better.
If anyone can do it, she will.
Way to take some hate, turn it right back around. I love that.
I'm sorry. Female athletes are just like so dynamic, so sensational, and just like exactly what the world needs. I love to see it.
Love to see it.
What do you got for us? What do you have a touch more of?
I want to give a shout out to the 2025 AmeriCup champions. For those that don't know what the AmeriCup is, it is a tournament where all the countries that are in like North and South America loosely come and play. The winner of it qualifies immediately for our World Cup. This is a qualifying tournament to get to the World Cup. I think if you finish in the top, don't quote me, but it's like if you finish in the top 2, 3, 4, that also qualifies you for the next qualifying tournament. So if you don't finish first, you still have a chance, but you'd have to go to another tournament. The USA team, which is made up of all college players, went down to Chile, played against all the professional players of Argentina, Colombia, but more so Canada, minus a few who are in the WNBA still, and Brazil. Brazil, to give everyone an idea, Dantas, who plays for the Indiana Fever, Camila Cardoza, who plays for the Chicago Sky. They left their WNBA teams to go play in this AmeriCup. And the college kids who lost a couple years ago in this AmeriCup to Brazil took them down in the final. We watched the whole game. I actually watched a bunch of games from the tournament. It was so much fun to watch these kids go out there and hoop. I mean, they played fearless. They played with confidence. It wasn't always pretty, but they overcame. They're coached by Kara Lawson, so congratulations to her. Michaela Blakes from Vanderbilt was the MVP. Congratulations to her. And honestly, so many people, Hannah Stolke, I think was like the MVP of a 4-minute span against Brazil at one point. There's so many people to shout out. One thing I left feeling was, man, Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo is a pretty good fucking backcourt. And it's just like, wow, to see them play together one more time was pretty cool. But anyways, I just want to give them a shout. They qualified us for the World Cup. So I really appreciate it as the managing director. But it was really just, we were scouting. No, it really was just so fun to watch them go down there as underdogs. It's very rare that the USA team plays the underdog role. And these kids all came together and they really just thrived. So just want to give them a huge, huge congrats.
They bopped them.
With
the exception of Dantas. Dantas did not get bopped. Dantas did the bopping.
And Camila got in foul trouble.
Camila got in foul trouble, but Dantas was a professional basketball player out there, and she was.
You could see the difference.
Oh man, she was working.
Which makes you wonder: is she bringing that back? She was playing that way prior. Is she bringing that back to the Fever?
I hope so.
Something to keep your eye out.
Camila Cardoza. They should let her cook a little bit more.
Camila Cardoza got into foul trouble, which really helped because size was one of the things that was going to be tough. And then you're playing against WNBA players with experience that size, so it's tough. But yeah, they were amazing. It was so fun to watch.
Congratulations to the kids.
Okay, before we go, we want to let you guys know we're going to be throwing out the first pitch on Friday. That is Friday, July 11th. So by the time you listen to this, tomorrow. And we're going to be throwing out that first pitch at the Athlete Unlimited Softball League game, which is happening at Husky Stadium at UW. The game is at 7 o'clock. So probably got to get there a little bit earlier if you want to see us do our thing. Otherwise, they are playing a series there. So they'll be there July 11th, 12th, and 13th. And that's it. That is it for the show today. That's it for this episode. We will see you next week. Support for A Touch More comes from Icy Hot. Whether it's an injury or just trying to get out of bed after leg day, we've all been there. You're ready to tackle your goals, but pain is holding you back. Don't worry. All you need is a mixture of cooling and warming sensations to relieve it. Icy Hot offers fast-acting, powerful pain relief for your joints and muscles post-workout, so you can come back strong. Ice works fast, and heat makes it last. With Icy Hot, you're so back. Buy Icy Hot Original No Mess now.
Support for A Touch More comes from Netflix. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, two of the most dynamic and fierce athletes in the world, are facing off once more on Friday, July 11th. It's the first ever women's boxing trilogy fight, and the stakes have never been higher. The last time these two rivals met aired live on Netflix, and it was the most watched women's sporting event in history. The event will feature 5 fights across the card, with 9 current world champions and 4 of the top 10 women's pound-for-pound fighters in the world, as rated by BoxRec. It's also setting a new financial standard for female fighters, with Taylor and Serrano poised to receive record-breaking purses and raising the benchmark even higher as the highest-paid female fighters of all time. I'm going to be tuning in. Don't miss the epic showdown live from Madison Square Garden in New York City. Watch Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano on Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live on Netflix.